Have you ever heard of an ancient kingdom that lived by one thing, words? Not a kingdom of gold, not a kingdom of steel, but a kingdom that stands on verbal power. This is the Meitei, a civilization that built the world. No books, no machines, only stories. In northeastern India, hidden in the green valleys of Manipur, they guard secrets for thousands of years. Their oral traditions were not just stories, but laws, knowledge, and the prayers of life. And what's more surprising, they possess a script that's nearly extinct. How did a civilization survive without writing for centuries? And why was their script erased from history? This story isn't about the past, it's about memories that are nearly lost. Welcome to the Oral Meitei Kingdom. A kingdom rooted in words, and weathering the storms of history. In their world, word is law, word is life. Yet, beneath the serenity of this valley, lies the story of a battle nearly forgotten. A civilization that refused to be swallowed up by time, and nearly succeeded. But why do we rarely hear their names? Has the world forgotten them on purpose? Or have they chosen to remain hidden? Tonight, we will uncover the layers of mystery that shroud the Meitei. We will trace their footsteps, from ancient scripts to prayers that still echo. We will enter a world where stories are the greatest power. A world where words can change fate, and myths become reality. Are you ready to open a door that's almost closed forever? Because when you step inside, you won't see the world the same. This isn't just history, it's a journey into the human soul. A journey to discover what memory truly means. And what happens when that memory is almost erased from the world. This kingdom isn't about wealth, but about unseen power. A power that can endure, even if the entire kingdom is wiped off the map. As long as there's one person who remembers, the Meitei are never truly dead. And tonight, you will witness the resurrection of their story. Next chapter, we'll go back to the beginning, when it all began. We begin at the beginning, in a quiet valley, at the foot of the eastern Himalayas. This is Manipur, home to the Meitei, a place surrounded by rainforests and sacred rivers. Long before the world map was formed, the Meitei were here, living in harmony with nature. Their legends say the world was born from a cosmic order, and the Meitei are its guardians. They believe in the power of heaven and earth, and write about it in their prayers. No paper, no ink, only the human voice upholds the laws of nature. Every word is a promise, and every promise is law. This is the foundation of the Meitei oral empire. In this valley, the Meitei people formed a unique order, interconnected clans. They lived with a strict social system, but without writing, how did they record history? This is the mystery that sets them apart from other civilizations. The power of the Meitei lies in their collective memory, passed down through stories, songs, and mantras. Every ceremony, every feast, is a book read together. But make no mistake, the Meitei are not a primitive people. They have a knowledge of astronomy, a ritual calendar, and a complex system of medicine. Their science is born from observing the heavens, and they believe the stars are the language of the gods. While other worlds began to write, the Meitei persisted with sound, because sound is spirit. There are no inscriptions, only ancestral songs echoing in the silent night. And from there was born their greatest myth, the origin of humanity and the universe. In Meitei mythology, the creator god rules the world, with sacred words. Words are not just sounds, but the power that creates life. That's why they believe that if words disappear, the world will end. From this philosophy, a society was born that deeply reveres the art of speaking. A leader is not judged by his weapons, but by his tongue that carries truth. Every major decision is made with prayers and mantras, not with ink on paper. This is a kingdom built by words, a world almost impossible for us to imagine today. But how did they survive the wave of written civilization? How did they maintain their traditions, when the world outside was changing so rapidly? That we will find out, in the next chapter. Because after this initial period, the Meitei faced their greatest challenge. And from there was born the story of a lost script, and the battle to revive it. Oral tradition is the heart of the Meitei, the pulse that keeps them alive. Not mere tales of entertainment, but laws, morals, and history. Here they write, not with ink, but with a voice that never stops. But the greater the kingdom, the greater the need for an enduring sign. And so the Meitei Mayek script was born, a linguistic marvel of the oral world. This script was simple, yet rich in meaning, each letter a symbol of nature and the cosmos. But why do we call this script lost today? The answer is bitter. History swallowed them, not because they were weak, but because they were forced to. In the 18th century, the Meitei Kingdom faced a great wave, a cultural and religious invasion. Colonialism and outside influences brought a new alphabet, and slowly, the Meitei Mayek was replaced. For hundreds of years, these letters disappeared from schools, from books, even from prayers. Only a few manuscripts remain, hidden in temples and the homes of elders. Yet, their voices never completely died out. Folk songs continue to be sung, mantras continue to be recited at sacred ceremonies. For the Meitei, sound is more eternal than ink, because it lives in breath. But the modern world demands written proof, and that's where the problems begin. The younger generation began to forget their mother tongue, in favor of a foreign alphabet. However, a movement was born, a resistance to revive the script. In the early 20th century, Meitei scholars began to explore their heritage. But this struggle was not easy, they had to fight against the tide of globalization. Because how can we preserve the script, when the world is moving rapidly in digital language? Their answer was surprising: the Meitei Mayek script now lives on, in the world of technology. Unicode incorporates this script into the global system, a major victory for oral culture. From voice, to letters, and now to digital screens, Meitei adapts without losing its soul. But letters are only part of the story. What makes Meitei truly timeless? The answer lies in their art of speaking, an art that even technology cannot replace. Because in every word, there is a prayer, and in every prayer, there is an ancestral spirit. That's why, even though the script was lost, the Meitei voice never truly died. Now, we will delve deeper, into their spiritual world. A world that teaches that words are not just sounds, but healing powers. Because the Meitei believe, that sound can heal the body and soul. And this knowledge, still lives on today. Are you ready to discover the secrets of ancient medicine, hidden in spells? The next chapter will open the door to the magical world of Meitei. For the Meitei, words are more than just language, they are a magical force. They believe, every word has a spirit, and that spirit can heal or destroy. This is the basis of Meitei medicine, sacred mantras that bind the energy of nature. When a child is sick, a Meitei healer not only prescribes potions, but also prayers. Because for them, illness is not just physical, but an imbalance between the spirit and the body. Healing rituals are performed in front of a fire, with medicinal herbs and ancient words. Potions are made from forest plants, believed to possess sacred energy. The water from the river is considered sacred, because it carries the power of the sky gods. During the ritual, the healer chants a mantra, a sound believed to bring balance to the universe. This is more than just healing, it's communication with unseen forces. Every word is chosen carefully, because one wrong word can bring disaster. For the Meitei, sound is medicine, and silence is poison. They also believe that ancestral spirits are present at every healing ceremony. Therefore, before the ritual begins, there are always offerings to the family spirits. The offerings are simple, but full of meaning: rice, flowers, and pure water. No one dares to forget this, because ancestors are the guardians of harmony in life. But not all healing is done with mantras, there are also complex physical treatments. Like the traditional Meitei massage technique, which is believed to expel bad energy. There are also potions to increase strength, made from rare roots and seeds. However, all this knowledge is not written down, it is only passed on from teacher to student. And to become a healer, it takes years of listening, not reading. One famous mantra is the Sanamahi Puja, a prayer to the household deity. This mantra is believed to bring peace and prosperity to the family. To this day, this ritual is still performed in many Meitei homes. Not only healing the body, the Meitei also have mantras to heal the soul. When someone loses their way in life, a healer will call their spirit back. This ritual is called Famlan, and is believed to bind the soul. Each step of the ritual is accompanied by chanting, because sound is a bridge to the spirit world. However, the modern world views this as superstition. Is that true? Modern science has discovered that sound can influence the cells of the body and mind. Is this a coincidence? Or did the Meitei already know this secret thousands of years ago? We can only wonder, because science is only just beginning to catch up with what they know. But one thing is certain, for the Meitei, life without ritual is like living without breath. Rituals are not a burden, but their way of maintaining a connection with the universe. And herein lies their strength, the balance between humans, nature, and words. However, Meitei spirituality doesn't stop at medicine, it extends to art, music, and dance. Their art is prayer, every dance movement is a mantra in bodily form. Their music is not entertainment, but a means of communicating with the gods. Their instruments, such as the pung, sacred drum, are believed to carry cosmic energy. When the drum is beaten, the spirit world is believed to dance. This is why Meitei festivals are always filled with sound, because silence is a sign of death. All this makes us ask, is the modern world really more advanced? Or have we lost something that the Meitei once had? Next chapter, we'll look at their art, mythology, and war. Because the Meitei are not just healers, they are also warriors who fight against the tide of history. A tale of blood, honor, and art, all in one soul. Are you ready to see a side of the Meitei that's rarely told? Because after this, we enter a much more dramatic world. Art for the Meitei is not just entertainment, but a bridge to the world of the gods. The classical Ras Leela dance is one of them, a soul-stirring ritual of love. Slow, meaningful movements, every step is a prayer, every swing of the hand is a mantra. Accompanied by the sound of the pung, the sacred Meitei drum, believed to bring harmony to the universe. Meitei music is not for the ears, but for the spirits that dance beneath this world. Besides dancing, they have an art of war, called Tang Ta. Tang Ta is a martial art with swords and spears, born of the need to survive. For the Meitei, war is not just physical, but also spiritual. Before battle, warriors chant mantras, to strengthen their spirits and make them fearless. Their swords are named, because they are believed to have souls. Yet, despite their love of peace, history forced the Meitei into war against a great power. In the 18th century, a foreign wave arrived, that changed their fate forever. Great empires invaded, bringing new religions, weapons, and power. The Meitei fought back bravely, but the world was changing too fast. This invasion destroyed not only their bodies, but also their culture and their script. Holy books were burned, the Mayek script was banned, and their mantras were called heretical. Yet, the Meitei did not give up, they kept their heritage close to their hearts. Their art lives on, even if it is practiced in secret. War songs turned into love songs, but their meaning remained the same, freedom. Meitei mythology endures, telling stories of deities like Sanamahi and Panthoibi. Panthoibi is the goddess of love and courage, a symbol of Meitei women's resistance. These legends are not just fairy tales, but codes for maintaining identity. Finally, a great war broke out, one that changed the face of the Meitei people forever. That battle was called the Anglo-Manipuri War, the war against the British in 1891. Despite being outgunned, the Meitei displayed a bravery that made history. Their leaders chose death rather than surrender, a heroic tale rarely heard by the world. After that war, Manipur fell, and the Meitei people entered the colonial era. Their art survived, but in the shadow of foreign rule. However, one thing cannot be erased, the Meitei spirit that lives on in art. The Ras Leela dance continues to be performed, the songs still sung, the mantras still chanted. Because for them, losing their art means losing their soul. And to this day, Meitei art continues to symbolize cultural renaissance. From festivals to the world stage, Ras Leela is now known as an East Indian masterpiece. But few know, beneath the beauty of the dance, there are tears of history. The tears of a people almost forgotten, but who chose to fight with art. And that is the magic of the Meitei, they fight not just with swords, but with words and gestures. The next chapter will take us to the darkest times, when this civilization was nearly wiped out. But also to a time of renaissance, that gives new hope to their legacy. Are you ready to witness the end of an era, and the beginning of a new struggle? Because the next chapter is about the fall of empires and the rise of culture. A story of destruction, oppression, and rising from the ashes of history. After the Anglo-Manipuri War of 1891, the Meitei kingdom collapsed. Manipur officially came under British rule, and the Meitei identity began to eradicate. The Meitei Mayek script was banned, replaced by Bengali, then Latin. Ancient texts were burned, ancestral manuscripts were lost in the fires of colonialism. The oral tradition still lives on, but without writing, their legacy is barely recorded. New generations are taught foreign languages, while their mother's tongue is heard less and less. Yet, the Meitei never gave up. Behind the shadow of colonial rule, the elders continue to teach secret prayers and songs. They believe, as long as one person remembers the mantra, the Meitei will never die. And that belief was vindicated, because in the 20th century, the Meitei revival began. Scholars searched for surviving manuscripts, and copied them by hand. A cultural organization was born, with one goal, to revive the Meitei script and tradition. The 1980s were a turning point. Meitei Mayek was taught in schools again. And in the digital age, the script was added to Unicode, so it could be used worldwide. This was a major victory, after hundreds of years of cultural oppression. Today, the Meitei Cultural Festival is held with great pomp, featuring dance, music, and ancestral prayers. The younger generation is taking pride in learning their language and script. However, new challenges arise, globalization and popular culture continue to place them. Will the Meitei disappear again, or will they find a way to survive? The answer lies with us. Will we recognize, cherish, and share this story? Because every time this story is told, the Meitei are reborn. Behind all the wounds of history, the Meitei taught one thing: words are power. And when the world forgot the alphabet, the Meitei proved that human memory is stronger than ink. The fall of the kingdom was not the end, but the beginning of a greater journey. Today, the Meitei stands as a symbol of resilience, a culture that refuses to die. And perhaps, from them, we can learn that identity is not just letters, but the soul. The final chapter, we will conclude the great lesson of this story. A message to the modern world, about the meaning of words, memory, and culture. And a call, not to repeat the same mistakes. Because civilizations can disappear, not because we lose a war, but because we stop telling stories. Are you ready to hear the final words from the Meitei? Because this final chapter is a message from the past to our future. We have traveled a long journey, from the glory to the fall of the Meitei. A civilization built without ink, but sustained by sound. The Meitei taught us one important lesson: words are more powerful than weapons. Because as long as words are spoken, identity will live on. And today, they rise again, bringing their ancestral legacy to the digital world. Proof that technology doesn't always kill culture, if we know how to preserve it. The question is, how many other cultures have been lost because we forgot to tell them? Maybe, after watching this, you'll see the world differently. Because every word we speak can be the salvation of a civilization. Don't let stories like this be lost again, let's share them with the world. If you enjoyed this story, please like and share it so more people will know. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe words can defeat swords? And if you want more stories of hidden civilizations, hit the subscribe button now. Turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss the next amazing story. We have many other historical mysteries that will open your eyes to the world. See you in the next video. Keep preserving culture, because that's where we find our identity. Remember, as long as we tell stories, civilization will never die. I'm Pijuang Risay Animasi Channel, and this is a story that shouldn't be forgotten. See you soon.